Two till the hour here in the Imus Morning program. One of Congressman Peter King's favorite songs, the theme from Rocky. It's the worst selection of songs I've ever heard from anybody. All of the people have been on the program. He submitted to 5. Oh, my God, just hideous. Anyway, Congressman King is we're here with us now and joins us on the program. Good morning, Congressman King.
I could have slept through this morning rather than put up with this nonsense. I mean, here I go out of my way to wake up early, stop the shovel my snow so I can talk to you. And before we go any further, I really want to know, do you invite me on your show because you like me as a human being, or just because you know that my great popularity is going to boost your meager ratings? I mean, what is the reason I'm on the show?
Bernie makes me put you on.
Oh, okay.
And I like you.
Oh, okay, that's good, okay.
So,
that's good. I like you, too.
Well, I mean, you're getting a little thin skin on me here. It's just, you got to calm down. You got to wear a helmet if you want to be on the program. So
I just think that a person of my stature and status, a man of my good looks and charm, should be treated with the appropriate respect.
You're a congressman. Calm down, okay? Okay. Congressman King is a Republican serving his 9th term in the House. He's a ranking member of the Homeland Security Committee, also serves on the Financial Services Committee and other committees, and was the first, by the way, along with the governor, to scream about how inappropriate it was to have these terror trials in New York. And now, I don't know whether you're aware of this or not, but Chuck Schumer has been jumping up and down and claiming that he was the one who called the president, and everybody on the planet knows that that's not true. So,
yeah, there's some rewriting of history going on. When this was announced in mid-November, you're right, I was the first, along with Governor Paterson, who, by the way, is a really nice guy. The two of us are out there. Also, I give him credit, Councilman Peter Vallone Jr. in New York City. But other than that, it was lonely. Everyone was lining up saying these trials are important, they were going to be held. And now that the American people have spoken, politicians are looking at the polls. You have people, especially Democrats, tripping all over themselves, claiming credit, saying they were doing it all along. They were there. Listen, I'm glad everyone's on the same page. These trials would be absolute disaster for New York. But I just wish more people would speak out when it really matters, rather than put us in a situation where we could have ended up with this trial. This was almost 10 weeks between the time it was announced and before people started to speak out against it. So it's wrong. It's wrong what happened, and I hope in the future that more political people speak up and do the right thing.
I wonder what the president meant, though, when he told Katie Couric that it was still a possibility.
Yeah, by the way, this administration is really confused when it comes to the whole terrorist issue. I think the president has made a big mistake. He defers too much to Eric Holder, the Attorney General. And, Eric Holder, when he was in private law practice, his law firm represented a lot of these Guantanamo detainees. He comes at this from a very, very liberal, left-wing perspective. And also the base of the Democratic Party, at least the base that first got behind President Obama, they totally against Guantanamo being open. They want the trials to be held here. I think some of them actually think it's a way to put George Bush on trial. I've actually had Democratic congressmen say that if we have these trials, we'll find out who's guilty on both sides. So there's this moral equivalency they have. So I think the president's lost control of this issue. He seems really vague and just not with it when he's discussing these issues. Sort of like, me picking my 5 songs for your show. There's some things and there's some things that you don't feel comfortable with. And he doesn't seem that comfortable when he's discussing this issue. I mean, when it was first announced by Holder, the president said he had nothing to do with it. It was Eric Holder that made the decision. Now the president is saying that the president, is probably going to pull the trials out. Well, was it Eric Holder? Was it Barack Obama? Who's making the decisions? And I think it's important for the country to know that the president is in charge of policies such as this, not Eric Holder.
So just try to remove politics from your answer if you can. What's your assessment of David Paterson?
Oh, I like David Paterson. Actually, my sister Barbara used to work with David Paterson's wife, Michelle. So my wife Rosemary and I, we actually used to go to dinner with David long before he was even minority leader. Yeah. He took me up to dinner at a restaurant in Harlem. He came out to a dinner in Massapequa with me. We used to speak more often. Now, David Paterson is a very smart guy, very charming guy, tremendous self-effacing sense of humor. And, the reality is obviously that he's almost entirely blind. You forget that as soon as you sit down with him, and yet he's able to also get up and walk around and maneuver, and he's just a great guy. We've done some television shows together.
Okay, I get it. But,
he's a good guy. He's a good man.
Well, why is I didn't mean to be rude there, but I did mean to be rude, and I was. Now I'm apologizing for it.
No, I don't accept the apology, but go on.
Why is the word, then, that he's incompetent, that he can't run a state, that can't get along with the state legislature? Well, neither could Spitzer or several other governors, but how did he get that tag then?
Several things. One, he really totally mishandled the whole selection of Kirsten Gillibrand over Caroline Kennedy. He handled it poorly. He doesn't seem to have a staff in place that he can rely on. There seems to be a lot going on around him that he's late to respond to. And there seems to be like there's not I'd say, the total discipline that is required in tough times. And also, let's face it, once the media gets onto something, once your opponents get onto something, they go after you. I mean, probably the most athletic president we ever had was Gerald Ford. We slipped down the stairs once, and after that, he became the clumsiest president we ever had.
No.
So a lot of it is just, once they start piling on. But he may be turning it around a bit here now. Now, by the way, just make it clear, I'm supporting Rick Lazio for governor. He's going to be an outstanding governor. But as a human being, David Paterson's a great guy.
Rick Lazio?
Rick Lazio is running for
Rick
governor.
Lazio? See, that's a problem. That's a problem with politics. Because you guys don't have any principles or anything. I mean, David Paterson, Rick Lazio, oh, my God. So this is just shocking, and that's only because he's a Republican, isn't it?
No, come on. Rick and I got elected to Congress the same year. In fact, now I represent part of the old district he used to have. We talk quite a bit. Rick is a good guy. He's an experienced guy. What do you have against Rick Lazio, the poor guy? He's out there trying to raise his family and.
Oh, good. Well, nobody else is.
Work for his country.
He's a dope.
The thanks you get him. He's not making millions of dollars on cable television or anything.
Maybe it's because Governor Paterson is black, huh?
Oh, jeez.
Now here you go. Of all people.
Anyway,
you're just saying this to me because I'm Irish Catholic. You're a bigot.
How about your buddy Schumer? Can he be defeated? Hopefully.
What can I tell you? Chuck will be holding news conferences every day, and we'll be able to add them up at the end of the year. I think once he did a news conference about air traffic controllers in New York and said if the issue wasn't resolved, we would have digital Armageddon. It had to be resolved, I think, in 30 days. And then 18 months later, we did the same news conference. But in any event, that's... Chuck is actually a hard-working senator. I'm sort of fooling around with Chuck, but he's a hard-working guy. Sometimes he pushes for the publicity, but he is a hard-working guy.
John,
hopefully we can defeat him. I'd love to defeat him. Yeah, I think Republicans can take back the Senate this year.
John Brennan, aide to the president, apparently, a couple of days ago in an op-ed piece, USA Today, saying people who criticize the president's policies, terror policies, are helping Al-Qaeda.
First of all, if I can interrupt you, John Brennan should go. John Brennan is doing a very poor job as the president's Homeland Security advisor. This guy is a control freak. He's an egomaniac. He wants to control everything on intelligence, on counterterrorism, not disclose any of it to anyone in Congress. He gets involved in interfering with other people running their operations in the intelligence community. And he really believes that he knows the whole story. And he wouldn't have to Kit Bond. Senator Kit Bond is one of the most respected guys in the Senate.
Yeah.
And to go after him, basically, in effect, he's calling him a liar. The fact is that the administration did make a lot of mistakes on Christmas night. And the fact is that members of Congress were not told he was going to get, the terrorist was going to get his Miranda rights. The fact is also the other leaders in the intelligence community were not asked to have input into that decision. And Brennan is now trying to rewrite history. And he's doing a very poor job of it, and I don't think he's serving the president very well at all. This is a very, very serious issue, and if the president wants to go forward, I think John Brennan should go.
Thanks for putting on the program. I'm sorry I was rude. It sounded like you actually...
You do it every time. You're not sorry at all. And,
no. It sounded...
I'm not going to get over it. Now, let me give my therapist a call.
It just sounded to me like you actually were a little irritated with me. So.
Well, I am. That's the way I try to be nice, and that's the thanks I get. It's
good, because I'm not happy till you're not happy.
Well, then you should be very happy right now. Then.
Thank you for praying on the program.
And I'm praying for your health every night.
Congressman Peter King.